Tell this story as if you are speaking directly to one curious listener late at night. Start with a powerful hook in the first 5 seconds that creates mystery, danger, or emotional tension. Reveal information gradually, never all at once, so the listener always wants to know what happens next. Use simple but vivid language that paints clear images in the mind. Make the characters feel human by showing their fears, desires, and inner conflicts. Add short pauses, rhythm, and dramatic beats as if it's being narrated aloud. End each segment with an unanswered question, twist, or emotional pull that forces the listener to come back for more. The tone should feel intimate, cinematic, and emotionally gripping, not rushed, not flat. Make the listener feel, I can't stop listening, and I want to hear this again. Ships, soldiers, and horses for invasion. In October 1066, William landed on English soil. The decisive battle took place near Hastings. This battle would decide England's future. Harold's army marched south to confront the invaders. Both sides knew only one king would survive. The Battle of Hastings was brutal and relentless. Arrows darkened the sky. Swords clashed in violent waves. Harold was killed during the fighting. By sunset, the English resistance collapsed. William emerged victorious. On Christmas Day, 1066, William was crowned King of England. This moment began a new royal bloodline. The Norman kings reshaped England completely. They introduced French language into the royal court. They transformed English law and governance. They replaced Anglo-Saxon nobles with Norman lords. Castles rose across the land as symbols of control. The Tower of London became the ultimate sign of royal power. William ruled with strength and fear. His reign was marked by rebellion and suppression. To control his kingdom, William ordered the Domesday Book. This massive survey recorded land, wealth, and ownership. It allowed the crown to tax and dominate effectively. William died in 1087. His death did not bring peace. His sons fought for control of the crown. William II, known as William Rufus, became king. He ruled harshly and without mercy. William II died suddenly during a hunting accident. Many believed his death was no accident. The crown passed to his brother, Henry I. Henry was intelligent and politically skilled. He strengthened royal authority and law. Henry's only legitimate son drowned in the White Ship disaster. This tragedy shattered succession plans. Henry named his daughter Matilda as heir. England was not ready for a ruling queen. After Henry's death, civil war erupted. This conflict became known as the Monarchy. Matilda fought her cousin Stephen for the throne. The country fell into chaos and suffering. Castles changed hands constantly. Loyalty meant survival. Eventually, compromise ended the conflict. Stephen named Matilda's son as his heir. This son was Henry Plantagenet. In 1154, Henry became king. He ruled as Henry II. This marked the end of the Norman dynasty. A new royal era had begun. The Plantagenet bloodline would dominate England for centuries. But the foundation of royal power was already set. The crown had become absolute. The monarchy was now permanent. England would never be the same again. In silent moments like these, history whispers its secrets. Henry II ascended the English throne in 1154. He was young, ambitious, and fiercely intelligent. Henry inherited a broken kingdom. Civil war had weakened royal authority. Henry's first goal was control. He reasserted the power of the crown. He reformed the legal system. This laid the foundation for English common law. Royal judges now traveled the country. Justice became centralized under the king. Henry's power stretched far beyond England. He ruled lands in France larger than the French king's domain. This empire became known as the Angevin Empire. Henry II married Eleanor of Aquitaine. She was one of the most powerful women in Europe. Her lands doubled Henry's territory overnight. Their marriage was legendary. So was their conflict. Eleanor was strong-willed and politically sharp. Henry was controlling and ruthless. Together they had 8 children. Their sons would become Henry's greatest threat. Henry's sons rebelled against him. They were encouraged by their own mother. Eleanor supported their uprising. Henry crushed the rebellion. He imprisoned Eleanor for years. Family loyalty meant nothing in royal politics. Henry II's reign was also marked by tragedy. His close friend Thomas Becket became Archbishop of Canterbury. Becket defended church authority against the king. Their friendship turned into bitter rivalry. Henry spoke words of anger and frustration. His knights took those words literally. In 1170, Becket was murdered in Canterbury Cathedral. The killing shocked Christendom. Henry was blamed across Europe. Public penance was required to save his rule. Henry II died in 1189. He died betrayed by his own sons. The crown passed to Richard I. History remembers him as Richard the Lionheart. Richard was a warrior king. He spent little time in England. His passion was crusade and battle. Richard led the Third Crusade to the Holy Land. He became a legend across Europe. But legends are expensive. Richard taxed England heavily. He sold royal offices to fund war. Richard was captured on his return journey. England paid a massive ransom for his release. Richard died in 1199. He left no legitimate heir. The crown passed to his brother, John. King John would become one of England's most hated rulers. John lost most English lands in France. His military failures humiliated the crown. His taxes angered the nobles. His cruelty bred rebellion. In 1215, the barons forced John to sign Magna Carta. This document limited royal power. It established the principle that the king was not above the law. John tried to overturn the agreement. Civil war followed. John died in 1216. His son, Henry III, inherited the throne as a child. England was fragile once again. Henry III ruled for over 50 years. His reign was marked by weakness and favoritism. Nobles challenged royal authority repeatedly. Simon de Montfort led a major rebellion. He called one of the first English parliaments. The idea of representation took root. Henry III died in 1272. The crown passed to his son, Edward I. Edward would reshape England and Wales by force. The Plantagenet dynasty had survived rebellion, betrayal, and war. But darker conflicts still lay ahead. The crown was powerful, yet it was never secure. Edward I became king in 1272. He was tall, commanding, and feared. History remembers him as Longshanks. Edward I believed in absolute royal authority. He set out to dominate Britain. Wales was his first target. Edward invaded Wales with overwhelming force. Welsh resistance was crushed. Edward built massive stone castles. Caernarfon, Conwy, and Harlech still stand today. These castles symbolized English dominance. Edward declared his son Prince of Wales. This tradition continues to this day. Edward I then turned north. Scotland resisted English rule fiercely. William Wallace led a Scottish rebellion. Wallace became a symbol of freedom. Edward defeated Wallace's forces. Wallace was captured and executed. Scotland did not submit easily. Robert the Bruce continued the fight. Edward I died in 1307. He died while marching toward Scotland. His final wish was conquest. His son, Edward II, took the throne. Edward II was nothing like his father. He lacked military skill. He lacked authority. Edward II relied heavily on favorites. Piers Gaveston became his closest companion. The nobles despised Gaveston. They viewed him as arrogant and dangerous. Gaveston was executed by rebel lords. Edward II never recovered politically. His reign collapsed into chaos. Scotland defeated England at Bannockburn. Robert the Bruce secured Scottish independence. Edward II's authority was shattered. Queen Isabella turned against her husband. She allied with Roger Mortimer. Together, they invaded England. Edward II was forced to abdicate. He was imprisoned. He later died under mysterious circumstances. Many believe he was murdered. Edward III became king in 1327. He was only 14 years old. At first, others ruled in his name. Edward III later seized power himself. He executed Mortimer. He confined his own mother. Edward III restored royal strength. He claimed the French throne. This claim triggered the 100 Years' War. England fought France for generations. Edward III transformed England into a military power. He built a chivalric court. The Order of the Garter was founded. Knightly honor became royal propaganda. England won major battles. Crécy shocked Europe. Poitiers captured the French king. Victory fueled national pride. But disaster followed. The Black Death struck England. Millions died. Society was transformed forever. Labor shortages weakened feudalism. Peasant revolts erupted. Royal authority faced new challenges. Edward III grew old and withdrawn. His sons died before him. The crown passed to his grandson. Richard II became king in 1377. He was only 14 years old. The throne once again rested on fragile ground. The Plantagenet dynasty stood powerful, yet cracks were forming beneath the crown.
Richard II ruled as a child king. Power rested in the hands of regents. Nobles competed to control the throne. England was restless. Heavy taxes angered the common people. War costs drained the treasury. In 1381, rebellion exploded. The Peasants' Revolt swept across England. Wat Tyler led thousands toward London. They demanded justice and freedom. Richard II met the rebels face to face. He promised reforms. The rebellion dissolved. The promises were broken. Richard II ruled with growing arrogance. He believed kings answered only to God. He punished rivals without mercy. Noble families feared him. Parliament resisted his authority. Richard ignored their warnings. He exiled Henry Bolingbroke. He was his cousin. This decision proved fatal. Richard left England on campaign. Bolingbroke returned with an army. The nobles supported him.
Richard was captured. He was forced to abdicate. Henry Bolingbroke became Henry IV. This was the first forced deposition of an English king. It shattered royal legitimacy. Henry IV ruled under constant threat. Rebellions followed him everywhere. The Percy family turned against him. Wales rose under Owen Glyndwr. England burned with unrest. Henry IV grew sick and weary. His son, Henry V, took the crown. Henry V was disciplined and ruthless. He united the kingdom. He revived the war with France. At Agincourt, England stunned Europe. A smaller English army crushed French knights. Henry V became a legend. He was hailed as a warrior king. But victory was brief. Henry V died young. His infant son became Henry VI. England fell into weakness again. Henry VI was gentle and unstable. Power slipped from his hands. Noble factions formed rival camps. The House of Lancaster faced the House of York. The Wars of the Roses began. Red Rose fought White Rose. Battlefields replaced council chambers. Kings were made and unmade. Henry VI was deposed. Edward IV seized the throne. He ruled with force and charm. Yet betrayal haunted his reign. Edward IV died suddenly. His sons vanished in the Tower. The princes in the Tower were never seen again. Suspicion fell on his uncle. Richard III took the crown. He ruled under a cloud of doubt. His reign was short. Henry Tudor invaded England. The armies met at Bosworth Field. Richard III charged into battle. He was killed fighting. His crown fell into the mud. The Plantagenet dynasty ended. A new era began. The Tudors rose from the ashes of civil war. England stood at the edge of rebirth.
Henry Tudor became Henry VII. He founded the Tudor dynasty. England finally knew peace. Henry VII strengthened royal finances. He ruled with caution and control. His son, Henry VIII, changed history forever. Henry VIII wanted a male heir. The Pope refused his request for divorce. Henry broke from the Catholic Church. The Church of England was born. The king became its supreme head. Monasteries were destroyed. Church lands filled the royal treasury. Henry VIII married 6 times. 2 queens were executed. Fear ruled the court. After Henry VIII came Edward VI. Edward was a child king. He ruled briefly. Religion shifted toward Protestant reform. Edward died young. Mary I took the throne. She tried to restore Catholic rule. Hundreds were executed. She became known as Bloody Mary. Her reign ended in failure. Elizabeth I ascended the throne. She ruled for 45 years. England entered a golden age. The arts flourished. Shakespeare wrote his plays. England defeated the Spanish Armada. Elizabeth never married. Her death ended the Tudor line. James I united the crowns of England and Scotland. The Stuart dynasty began. Conflict grew between king and parliament. Charles I believed in absolute power. Parliament resisted him. Civil war erupted. Charles I was executed. A king died by his people's order. England became a republic. Oliver Cromwell ruled as Lord Protector. The monarchy was restored after his death. Charles II returned to the throne. The crown survived, but weakened. Power slowly shifted to Parliament. The Glorious Revolution removed James II. William and Mary ruled together. A constitutional monarchy was born. Kings now ruled with limits. The Hanoverians followed.
George III faced colonial rebellion. America broke away. The British Empire expanded elsewhere. Queen Victoria reigned for 63 years. Britain ruled a global empire. Industry transformed society. The modern world emerged. 2 world wars shook the crown. Empires collapsed. Queen Elizabeth II ascended the throne. She reigned for 70 years. Tradition met change. The monarchy adapted to survive. Elizabeth II became a symbol of stability. After her death, Charles III became king. The crown entered a new age. Power now lies in influence, not force. The monarchy survives through symbolism. From swords to ceremonies, the crown endured. 1,000 years of power reshaped Britain. The story is not over. History still watches the throne. The British monarchy began with conquest. It survived through adaptation. Violence once built the crown. Compromise later preserved it. Kings once ruled by divine right. Now they rule by public consent. Power shifted from throne to parliament. Symbols replaced swords. Ceremony replaced command. The crown learned to bend. That bending saved it from breaking. Every dynasty faced crisis. Some collapsed, others transformed. The monarchy outlived rivals by evolving. Religion reshaped royal authority. Law restrained royal ambition. Revolution humbled the crown. Empire expanded its reach. Decolonization reduced its power. Media changed its image forever. Scandals tested public trust. Transparency became unavoidable. The royal family became human in public eyes. Mistakes were no longer hidden. Silence was no longer possible. Queen Elizabeth II mastered restraint. She rarely explained herself. Stability became her legacy. Charles III inherits a different world. Climate change shapes his mission. Public debate surrounds the monarchy's relevance. Support is no longer guaranteed. Tradition alone is not enough. Connection matters more than bloodline. The crown now survives through service. Charity replaces conquest. Influence replaces authority. The monarchy stands as living history. It links the medieval past to the digital age. Tourists visit palaces once feared. Crowns now attract cameras, not armies. The royal family reflects national identity. When Britain changes, the crown must change too. Future monarchs will face new tests. Technology will expose everything. Privacy will shrink further. Public opinion will decide survival. The crown's greatest challenge is relevance. Its greatest strength is continuity. 1,000 years prove resilience. Few institutions endure this long. The British monarchy remains unfinished history. Its next chapter is already being written by the people and by time.
The modern monarchy lives under constant observation. Every gesture is recorded. Every silence is analyzed. The royal family no longer controls the narrative alone. Social media reshapes perception instantly. Public approval rises and falls in real time. Tradition now competes with transparency. Secrecy is viewed with suspicion. Silence can feel like guilt. The crown must explain without arguing. It must listen without surrendering authority.
The younger generation questions inherited power. They demand relevance. They demand accountability. They demand purpose. Royal privilege is openly debated. Funding is scrutinized. Titles are questioned. The idea of monarchy itself faces criticism. Yet fascination has not disappeared. Royal weddings still captivate millions. Royal funerals unite the nation. Moments of ritual still matter. They offer continuity in a fast-changing world. Prince William represents a modern transition. He emphasizes mental health. He speaks openly about emotions. He presents monarchy as service, not dominance. Catherine embodies stability and approachability. She balances tradition with relatability. Their children symbolize the future, a future born into cameras. Privacy will be harder than ever. Mistakes will be magnified instantly. Learning curves will be public. The monarchy prepares for shorter reigns. Long, stable rule may not return. Each monarch must define their own purpose. There is no single model anymore. The crown adapts country by country. The Commonwealth relationship is evolving. Some nations choose independence. Others maintain symbolic ties. The monarchy accepts this shift quietly. Force is no longer an option. Respect must be earned. Relevance must be proven. Charity becomes diplomacy. Environmental advocacy becomes leadership. Cultural unity becomes power. The crown survives by reflecting society, not ruling it. The monarchy's future is fragile, but fragility encourages evolution. 1,000 years did not guarantee eternity. Adaptation did, and adaptation will decide what comes next.
The future of the British monarchy is no longer guaranteed. It is negotiated daily. Public opinion shapes survival more than law. The crown exists by consent, not by force. The next era will demand radical simplicity. Extravagance will be questioned. Luxury will require justification. Ceremony will be reduced. Meaning will matter more than display. King Charles began this transition. He supported a slimmer monarchy, fewer working royals, lower public cost, clearer roles. Prince William is expected to continue this path. He may modernize further. He may shorten traditions. He may abandon outdated customs. Continuity will be balanced with change. The monarchy will focus on service, mental health advocacy, environmental leadership, youth engagement, global humanitarian presence. Digital transparency will be unavoidable. Mistakes will spread instantly. Silence will no longer protect. Communication will be constant. Authenticity will be demanded. The younger generation expects honesty. They reject blind reverence. They value empathy. They reward humility. The monarchy may lose some nations. Republic movements will grow. Referendums will challenge allegiance. The crown will not resist aggressively. Choice will be respected. Symbolic unity will replace political power. The monarchy will become cultural, not governmental. The crown's greatest strength will be history, 1,000 years of continuity, shared memory, shared ritual, shared identity. Yet history alone is not enough. Relevance must be renewed each generation. If it fails, the crown fades quietly. If it succeeds, it transforms, not as rulers, but as reminders of stability, of service, of responsibility beyond power. The future crown may be smaller, but it may also be stronger, because survival will be chosen, not assumed. After 1,000 years, the question remains: can tradition evolve faster than time itself?
The British monarchy stands at a historic crossroads. Its survival is no longer automatic. It depends on relevance. It depends on trust. It depends on the people. 1,000 years of crowns cannot guarantee tomorrow. Only purpose can. King Charles represents transition, not revolution. He inherited tradition, but governs through restraint. Environmental concern became royal policy. Dialogue replaced dominance. Prince William represents the future, measured, modern, emotionally aware. He understands public expectation. Transparency is now unavoidable. Distance is no longer admired. Connection is required. The monarchy must feel human, not untouchable. Service will outweigh ceremony. Duty will outweigh luxury. Empathy will outweigh power. The Commonwealth will continue to change. Some nations will stay. Some will leave. Choice will define loyalty. The crown will not command allegiance. It will request it. Republican debate will grow and be openly discussed. The monarchy's response will shape its fate. Silence once protected kings. Now it weakens them. Every action will be judged instantly. Every mistake remembered permanently. Digital history never fades. The royal family will shrink further. Working roles will be limited. Public funding will be questioned. Justification will be constant. Yet symbolism still matters. Continuity still comforts. Ritual still unites. In times of crisis, people look to symbols. The crown remains one of them, not as a ruler, but as a witness, a link between past and present. The monarchy's greatest power is memory. Its greatest risk is irrelevance. If it adapts, it survives. If it resists, it fades. After 1,000 years, the crown faces one final test. Can tradition serve the future without being trapped by the past?